Hi, you guys. Hello, it's Malik. I am all comfy. I just took a shower. I am on a layover in Bridgetown, Barbados, if you can believe that. I probably have the mic way too close to my mouth. Sorry about that. I forget how high quality this mic can be. I'm on a 3-day trip right now. I did West Palm Beach yesterday, today Barbados, and I want to show y'all super quick how nice. First off, this room is insane. Y'all are catching me. This is full like chill mode when I'm just like relaxing. Oh, we're gonna do something a little weird here to get you through. Okay. This, you can't see anything. That's the ocean and the beach and the hotel like bar. The pools are down there. Oh my god. Alright, we're gonna go back inside. Oh my god, that's insane. You can't see anything. So the reason that I wanted to come to y'all, talk to you, hang out with you for a little bit is because one of y'all actually asked me a question, and I feel like, I don't know, I haven't done anything where we're just chilling, we're just vibing. Let me close this door so it doesn't get hot in here. Yeah, I feel like I haven't done anything where we're just vibing, like me and you, on a layover, and no real, there's nothing to do here. It's 8 p.m., sun went down, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So the question is from Donald. He reached out to me. Let's see if I can pull up his question. Hi, Donald, by the way. Nice to meet you. Thank you for watching my videos. It really means a lot to me. All right. I'm not going to say all his information, but he lives in America, in the States, and he says he can not only tell that I put a lot of planning into the content that I share, but that I actually do a very good job at editing it to tell a story from beginning to end. Thank you for noticing that. Seriously, that means so much, because I really want my content to not only be like fun and interesting and cool and like thoughtful, but like actually, I think how you organize a story or how you tell someone something matters too. So thank you for saying that. I'm glad that comes across, especially like, I don't know, when you kind of go to school for something, you're like, I don't want to really talk about, I want this to be just a stream of flow. I don't really want to talk about school, but when you go to school for something, it's cool to, especially when you're not exactly pursuing that thing in the traditional sense. It's cool to hear that you still have, some of the skills. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your journey as a flight attendant. It's very nice to see the behind the scenes views of all the profession has to offer, good and bad. I am considering starting a YouTube channel, and I have been so afraid of the sharing part. I always feel like the more I put on the internet, the more vulnerable I am to the world and people I don't know. How did you overcome that hurdle? I love this question because it is so real. And I think it's something that we don't talk enough about. In our society, everyone is kind of, I don't want to say everyone's pressured to start a YouTube channel or to be a YouTuber, but we are in a world now where social media has become so common that like everybody is on it. Everybody can make it. Everybody is famous. And so no one is famous. But at the same time, you will deal with things, I think, from having a following that are akin to fame. Even the following that I have, which is like 11,000 on Instagram, a few thousand on TikTok, a few 2,000 on YouTube, right? Like these aren't, when we look at some of these other creators that are out there with millions of followers, right? These aren't the biggest numbers, but at the same time, when you think of 15,000 people, 15 to 20,000 people, right? That's a lot of people. Of course, my content has also been seen by millions because I have hit that million mark on Reels, at least. I think twice I've hit the million mark on Reels. So my face has been seen by millions of people. And so whether those people decide to follow me doesn't mean that they will not know who I am, right? I've walked onto, first off, if you don't know, I'm a flight attendant and I commute to get to work. And so a lot of the times I'm taking a different airline, or just even if it's my own airline, but I'm taking a lot of times a different airline. So these aren't my direct colleagues, but they recognize me. Like a lot of times I get on the plane and I am recognized. I've even been recognized by customers while I'm working. I have been recognized by customers when I'm not working. Like I was getting on this Delta flight and this first class customer immediately like screams because like as soon as you get on, like she's in the first few rows and she's like, oh my God, you just moved to Austin and you're a flight attendant and you this and you that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Like these are things that and it's not like she was like, it wasn't to a point where like it was like this person was like fangirling over me or something, but she was just like shocked that she had just been watching my TikToks and then she saw me out in the real world. And so it was just one of those moments where, and then of course the passenger next to me is like, oh, you make TikToks? Like, what's going on with that? What do you know what I mean? Like, so it just is a thing where you will, because of social media, you can be exposed to a lot of different people, including people you don't know. And that sharing part, I think we just don't talk enough about that. As I've definitely had my moments where I'm like, man, I hope that I'm doing this right. You know what I mean? Where I hope that I'm like sharing, if I share something, I'm like, man, I'm thinking about everybody involved, right? I'm thinking, man, how would this person react if they saw that? How would this person react if they saw that? I'm trying to take in all these different considerations, and then also trying to explain maybe parts of my life that are either difficult to share or harder because like it's really sometimes hard to explain a story to someone that doesn't know you, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like they may hear the story and think, oh, well, if this person has that character, then, this is taken completely a different way than what you wanted it to be taken as, right? Like I've shared a commuting story, and the reaction was like people being not necessarily like people being kind of mean, I felt. And I don't know, just kind of like blame me over it when it wasn't like I was trying to be like I wasn't trying to do anything wrong, right? So it's just kind of interesting, these kind of moments, and not everyone's going to always understand you, I think. And so I'm glad that you're asking these questions before you start. Hopefully I feel like I've gone in already a tangent, but I did actually write some notes down. So one thing that I think people look for in this life, and I'm going to actually try to, this is a little weird, I'm sorry. I want to sit down. This is like behind the scenes of being a flight attendant when you're in your hotel room. No, but okay. So I think that people look for security. They want someone to come and tell them that they are, that things are going to work out, right? And I think that's cool. But I think there's a difference between wanting your life to be good and wanting your life to be perfect. Or, for example, right, let's just say there's relationship security, right? People want to know that person, they want to be affirmed and affirmed and affirmed. I love you. Tell me more about how much you love me. Tell me more about how much you're going to stay with me and you're never going to leave me and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's hard because, yes, you do want those things. I think innately as human beings, we kind of want some kind of assurance. We want to be out of the unknown, right? Because that's very, very scary for a human being to not know what's going to happen next, although that's literally every step of this life, right? So we try to get people to confirm, right? Even with the jobs, right? You're graduating from school and they're like, So you should look for like good job security. And you're like, what? Like, like I just think that these things, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's I don't know, there's so many different things that the people want security in their YouTube channel doing well, right? People want security and they want to know that if they put in this many hours, there's going to be this result, right? And they want that promise. And I think that, of course, faith and a higher power and God and all, whatever you might believe in, like, you can get that from there, I believe, right? For me, at least, I know I can get that promise that I'll always be okay, right? That kind of like, that faith, right? Leaning in, right? That I don't know, but I know you got me. Like, my hands are up, like I surrender, but like that kind of vibe, right? But you're not gonna, a human being cannot give you that, right? Like, even if that human being wants to give you that person could be in a car accident or something tomorrow and just be gone, right? And then all of a sudden you were married, you had this whole plan, you got this promise, and now, you know, like, that person's no longer there, right? So you're wanting, like, it's just this interesting thing I think that humans have with security. And I feel like, for me, it's always been about letting go, right? And the more that you let go, the more those things can come in. The more that you surrender, the more that you take your hands off, the more that you can say, I always felt like reap the rewards or get the thing that you actually want, right? But I spoke with this guy when I lived in LA. He was one of the heads of the new Cafe Nido. I think Cafe Nido had actually been there a while, whatever the story is, but they kind of had a new concept or something. And I was talking to him, and he was saying that, you know, if you, and I'm big on this, right? If you want to move somewhere, do it, right? But he was like, if you want to move to freaking Bali, do it. You know, if you want to go to Thailand, if you, like, whatever you want to do, right? This is the time, and LA will always be here, right? And so when he was saying that, he was like, you need to kind of take these risks, right? And I was like, oh, like, because big risk, big reward. And he was like, no, like, big risk, question mark, journey, life, next steps, life lessons, like, you got a new experience, you're better for having done it than sitting in your 90-year-old body wondering why you didn't start that YouTube channel. Donald. Right? Like, you're just better because you did it. You're better because you learned something. You're better because you have a new experience. You lived life. Not because, oh, there better be this grand reward at the end. And so YouTube cannot promise you any kind of security on sharing, you know what I mean? Like, on vulnerability, on whether people, I don't know, find out more about you than you'd like them to, or whether people, I don't know, just like they can't guarantee that you're gonna feel safe and secure, right? Like, YouTube can't guarantee that. Because that's going to also be different for everybody, even if they could, right? Even if they could say, like, we got a bodyguard outside your house, right? Like, or we got, you know what I mean? It's like, so for some people that might not make them feel safe, right? Some people feel safe in other ways. So let me see if I can, oh, this is interesting. Okay. I want to kind of jump around though, because I wrote notes, but I kind of want to jump around. I think that another thing that I just kind of want to jump to here that I learned when manifesting, becoming a flight attendant and everything was like, okay, so I think even before this, I did a video with Heather Hans. She's a psychotherapist, I think. Yeah. She works in that field, at least. It may have a different title. But she taught me something which I thought was really profound, which was that when you are manifesting something, right? Say you're manifesting 100,000 subscribers, right? Say you're manifesting just a successful YouTube channel, whatever success means to you. Say you're manifesting like putting out these videos, but still feeling good, still feeling safe, still feeling like, okay. You don't need to just visualize the amazing, smart, beautiful, creative, popular, famous you, right? You need to visualize the you that had this really difficult moment come up and yet still got through it, right? You want to visualize yourself overcoming the hurdles. So I just want to kind of look. So, I kind of wrote down a practical tip. And especially, I've learned from YouTube, right? Like, I have people that leave comments that not just are mean, in my opinion, but comments that are a little bit inappropriate, or that are clear that the person's trying to objectify my body, right? That are clear that the person is getting something from this that clearly I'm not trying to put out. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that I'm like, I look at the comments and I'm like, where did we get this, right? Like, we're clearly projecting and should be on a completely different site than YouTube. And a lot of times that doesn't feel, I'm laughing because it's uncomfortable, right? Like, sometimes that's the only thing you can do, I guess. But yeah, so I'm trying to think here. A practical thing that you can do is you can make a list, right? Like, take a moment and be like, all right, what are my boundaries, right? What do I not want people to know about me? What do I not want to share? That's the other thing. People have made this that, like, you owe everybody everything by being a social media creator or something. You don't owe anybody anything. So maybe you don't want to tell people the city you live in. Maybe you don't want people to see your face in your videos. I don't know. There are people nowadays making these like visual video diaries where they don't even show their face, right? There are people making UGC content and they don't show their face for different brands and are making bank, right? There are people who may not want to disclose where they live. There are people who have kids and they show on social media a blurred kid face, right? There are other people who could not care less and are like, the second their kid comes out their womb, they're posting their kid on Instagram, right? There are people saying, I want to, post a month after my kid is born or whatever, a year after, I don't know. I don't think people are waiting a year. I think they're too excited. but I think I have heard of people maybe taking a minute or taking a month or just, having the kid to themselves and not posting or blurring out the photos, right? So these kind of things are boundaries for different people. So I may feel like if I have, like to me, clearly I'm cool with y'all knowing where I live. Clearly I'm cool with y'all knowing where I work. Clearly I'm cool. You know what I mean? Versus someone else, there are other flight attendant creators who will never show themselves in uniform, right? Because that's a boundary for them. They will never show, I don't know, just certain things. They just won't show that maybe I feel comfortable showing, right? Or that maybe, certain videos that certain flight attendants post are compliant at their airline, right? And not compliant at another airline, right? It's totally different stuff that maybe you may not understand, but everyone is either following their personal policies or company policies, right? Just like in, tech workers, right? I follow people that work at Apple and they may disclose that they work at Apple. They may disclose that they work at Meta, but are they like showing the office meeting that they're in? No, right? Because not only is that like company policy for Meta, but it's also like not, it may just be like a personal thing for them. They may not show certain things, right? So it's just having a list of what you feel comfortable sharing and what you don't feel comfortable sharing. Even just the list of what you don't is going to be helpful. Even for me, I have learned, I read this book by some girl, and it was just about like having your own back, kind of stuff like that. And she had this thing where she would have personal policies. And if someone crossed one of those policies, she'd be like, look, this is my personal policy. And if I break it for you, I got to break it for everybody else. So I'm not breaking it for you. Policy, the end, done that. Because when people hear the word policy, they're a little bit more like, I guess she said, like, kind of like they kind of understand it more versus like, I don't really want to, or I don't really do that, or like, I don't like that, or you know what I mean? Like just being like, no, I have this personal policy, the end. If I let you break the policy, I'd have to let everybody break the policy. I'm not doing that. So, I'm dehydrated, y'all. I'm going to put this down for a sec. Oh. Oh my God. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more. So, yeah, so the whole point being you can't always control other people and what they do, and the people that you may be concerned about on YouTube watching your videos, or people you don't know, right? You can't control those people. Even people you do know, you can't control what they say or what they do or how they act, right? But you can't control yourself, right? I think the best thing, especially with YouTube, is to realize that you do have agency, right? You can put those boundaries up. This is your YouTube channel, right? I had someone comment the other day, like, make your videos shorter. I'm like, no. Like, I didn't even respond to the comment. And it's not like, again, with what I perceive as a nice, kind comment, right? Even now I'm like, oh my God, what if this person's watching this? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want them to feel the type of way, but also they didn't care that I felt the type of way. Like, when it comes to being like, the person basically had said to me that they love the topics that I talk about, but they don't love that the video is too long or something, that the stories are long. And I'm like, this is YouTube, the home of long form content. Excuse me. Had a ginger ale, a little bit of it. I have done short form content. I still do short form content. I'm not doing it right now though, but taking a little break from Instagram. But, so also, why do I have to change? If you like the topics that I talk about, there are quite literally probably millions of other creators that talk about the topics I talk about. You want someone that does it shorter, you could find them in a heartbeat. So I don't know why the expectation or the onus would be on me to change my content, right? Like, it's just, again, saying, hey, I have agency here. People want my videos to be shorter. They're making me feel really vulnerable. They're telling me my stories are too long, and whatever, you're feeling like you talk too much, whatever. But guess freaking what? It's your YouTube channel. Congratulations to you. And yeah, these will be people that you don't know. And the whole idea that people are keyboard warriors, in my opinion, is so true. People feel real confident speaking behind a keyboard than they would to your face. There are a lot of comments that I get that I'm like, I doubt you'd say that to my face. Because I don't know. I think I give off very nice, sweet, all that. And I do really care about people. I really want to make an impact in this world, and all the stuff that I talk about, right? My airline's mission of inspiring humanity, my personal goals and dreams of embracing being human and using that to make the world a better place and telling stories, all this stuff, right? Like treating people right. Yes, I'm about it. But I'll also clock you, right? Like I'm in the place now, like especially when you do a customer service job for nearly 3 years, you are, how do I say this? Like there is a limit of the disrespect you'll take in your personal life. And people do not come to me in person to tell me they hate my content, right? Or I should make my content shorter, or I should make my content longer, or I should change up the topics, or I should do this, or I should do that. Nobody says that to my face. Not a single person has ever said that to my face. So at least since I started doing more flight, like since I started getting recognized more and all that, like, you know, let's see. So yeah, set up these boundaries so that you are able to feel more equipped. I don't think, and then that way, when the moments come, you're like, oh, I already have that personal policy. I already have the boundary. I already know that I have agency here. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to feel unsafe in order to do YouTube. I think that it's okay. I think vulnerability is a good thing in terms of like, you know, that's the stuff that gives you like a rush, you know, like you get to feel alive when you're vulnerable. You get to, when you wear your heart on your sleeve, like, my God, like, thank you, because we need more of that. Right. And this is the other point I had watched this like Instagram reel, and if I can find her, I'll put her stuff in the description, but she's basically this woman who believes that it's really easy for bad people to become famous because they don't not, and bad people is a, whatever that means, right? But people who, let's say people who just couldn't care less about others, right? They're more about themselves, couldn't care less about, you know, how others perceive them or how people, or who they stomp on to get where they need to go. They'll just do anything. They're just ruthless, right? Not necessarily bad, right? But they're just a little ruthless. They couldn't care less what they do to get where they want to go and who they step on, who gets hurt in the process, right? So she was saying that those people, it's really easy for them to become famous, because if you're just going to stomp on everybody, it's going to be easier for you to become famous. Versus someone who's like, oh, well, before I upload that video, I should talk to that person. Or before I say this, I should really think about this. Or before I do this, how is this going to affect this person? Right now, all of a sudden, the 5 videos that you have planned are taking freaking a year to do because you're trying to make everybody okay, right? When the whole goal of these, or point of these platforms is to be consistent. Or, you know, you're like, oh, no, like, it was your idea. You're not stealing somebody's idea. You're not, you know, you're not like, you're trying to make original stuff, right? Think about how many people just copy each other on Instagram these days. So she was just saying that more people who care actually need to become famous. And the point is for those people, because they care a lot, which honestly, I've put myself in this boat sometimes where I will be actually scared of becoming famous because I'm like, well, that puts you in a really vulnerable position, right? Even the more I get recognized, I have to kind of walk myself through, coach myself through, because I'm like, oh my God, it is so much different from what I thought, you know, fame or attention would be like. Because I'm not gonna get on here and be like, I'm famous and walking down the street getting stopped. But for a moment, it was like every other commute that I would get on. Sometimes I'm working the flight. Sometimes like someone knows me. And while it's great, it is also like, nerve-wracking because someone could know you and doesn't have to say anything, right? It's just a lot of like attention and eyes on you puts you in a really vulnerable position. You're scared. You're like, oh my God, whatever. But sorry, I'm just like getting tired. I want to watch Atypical. But yeah, I just think that, what did I put here? So she's on this mission to break this stuff down, but she wants these people, like probably you, who's worried about being vulnerable, worried about what they're sharing, worried about who they're sharing it with, right? All these things, how their impact is in the world. She's like, you're actually who we need on YouTube. You, Donald. It's you. So figure out, like, her whole thing is just like, we actually need more people who care to be famous, because those ideas, that nuance, that amount of love and care into content, and being more conscious about what you're saying and how it affects others and all of that, we need more people like that, because that content would be good, So just don't forget that, don't forget that. That's a nice hum. Yeah. So, and then just overall, you do have to be vulnerable, but you don't have to be, I don't know, like, it's okay if it takes time for you to get there, right? Give yourself grace, and not only giving yourself grace, but remembering that, like, I used to say this more. It used to actually be my Instagram bio. You don't gotta be fearless. You have to fear less. Fearless, if you break it apart, is fear and less. Just fear less, right? Sometimes you're in this moment of, oh my God, I really want to do this thing. Can I do this thing, right? I just changed my Instagram handle from Classy Malik, which it has been for probably 15 years. I don't know, when did I get an Instagram? Like in middle school. And first, no one knows this, but it was that classy teen guy. So I was a teenager and I thought it was classy, I guess. It was the only adjective I had to describe myself. And then I changed it to Classy Malik, and it has been that. And now I just changed it to Malik Mercier. It's my name. And it just took that 1 second of courage, right? Because it is just kind of weird to change your handle after a long time. It's a big deal. People know you as that. They're going to search you as that. Whatever. Now you've changed it. So yeah, there's a lot in sharing. And I don't want to say that even I have overcome that hurdle of vulnerability and of being just nervous, but also know that if this calling and this want, this dream to start a YouTube channel is on your heart, like, know that it's there for a reason, right? I don't believe that, like, you come here with dreams for a joke. I think that you have these ideas and you have these dreams because they need to be expressed. And they need to be expressed through you. So, I don't know, sometimes I try to remember, and I think I've got to get back to this personally, of just remembering that this life's not about you, right? Think about your YouTube channel could help so many people. Your YouTube channel can make so many people feel seen and understood and amazing, you know? There are just so many opportunities because there's so many people, right, to help and to, I don't know, so many people need lifting up right now. So many people need, including myself, right? So many people need these things. So I would just remember that like, okay, like there's this collective of like, who knows how many billion people on earth, but then there's you, right? And if you could do something positive for those other people, I think that you should. Even if it's scary. Even if it's scary. So yeah. To wrap this up, my van is at 4 in the morning, before 5 a.m. So it's another early morning. I think I'm going to watch a little bit of Atypical, go to bed. I'm excited though to get back home. I'm working the flight from Barbados to New York tomorrow. I can't believe I came to Barbados. That's crazy. I'm going to look at the map to make sure it's real. I'm really here. When I didn't say this, I saw a freaking rat on the beach. A rat on the beach in Barbados. It was getting close to nighttime, but I thought that was pretty gross. And it made me really upset, actually, because I was like, you know how you come somewhere you knew and you're like, oh, it's so clean here. The water's so beautiful. Same thing I thought about LA. I was like, oh, LA is New York without rats. That same night I saw a rat. It's like, okay, all right. Guess they're here too. All right, I'm going to go. I want to watch Atypical. I also, Damon Dominique released a new video. I think I want to watch that. I've got a lot of stuff to watch. And yeah, I'm thankful that we had this little night together. Let me know if you want more hotel room chats. I love this idea of just photo boothing it with a mic and chilling with you guys, because this felt like such a nice hangout. Please let me know if you have any other questions for me, if there's any more things that I could help you out with. Thanks for being here. I love you. I'll see you next time. And that's it. I go to Austin tomorrow. I get to see Courtney, my barber. She's so cool. Yeah. All right.